Yeah. Sorry about that. Oop. Echo. Still getting used to live stream. I need an echo. Okay. All right. So the pesky TPMS light is on. Meaning either there's a problem with the TPMS system, or a sensor problem. Normally, if there's a sensor problem, the light will beep. Let's see what we got. So the TPMS light is on, low tire pressure light is message is on. So we need to check the air pressure. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. Normally when this happens, it's usually because of a low tire. Like 99% of the time. I'm using my Steelman digital tire inflator. I use this thing for TPMS because it's digital. It reads about what the sensor inside the tire will read. So it's accurate for those who have the where it tells you the pressure on the dash. I like them all to read as close to the same as possible. So the more accurate the gauge, the better it'll be. So that's 32, that's not bad. That one's okay, 32 is where I want to be. Come on. Now I've got it running because usually when you add 24, usually when you add air, it will, with the key on, when you get to a certain point when the pressure goes from one number to another number inside the tire, it will automatically ping out a signal. That might be a little too high. Take a little out. And that might be enough to turn the light off for me. Here's the second one. All right, now this is one of the ball tires. $22. You can use any tire filler and any accurate tire pressure checker, tire pressure gauge type deal. I put in the description below a link to another Steelman setup that's Bluetooth. Basically, I always put some of the tools I have are a couple of years old. Like this tool right here is probably about 8 or 9 years old. So they may not make it anymore. So when I put in the description what I would buy, 14 PSI. So this is probably one that's turning the light on. I always set up and put in the description what I would buy now. Because sometimes the tools that I own are no longer available, or they've been updated, or... So I always put what I would buy now if I were going to buy the tool again. I'm going to change these tires later. These rear tires, there's 32. I'm going to change these tires later. I don't have a tire machine. I do have a manual tire changer. So that should be fun. Especially live streaming. That's all set up in the basement right now. I pulled it all down and reassembled it in the basement. Just to give me room and lighting. Let's see if that was enough to turn the light off. Sometimes filling it with the key on is enough to clear the light by itself. Let's see what we got. Door jar, lights off. Okay, so the light's off. That's good. Now, if the light hadn't gone off, I have options. It pinged itself. So that's it. Now that it's fixed. I don't need a sensor. I've got this right here. It's a tire pressure tool. Bring it in front of the camera so you guys can see it. I have to remember, this is the camera you guys can see most of the stuff on. I know this camera you can see stuff on, but it's distant. I can't zoom in on it. All right, so I can turn it on, and I can check my sensors to see if they work. Standalone. Disable the Bluetooth. This can communicate with my OTC scan tool to program the ones that need to have the sensors plugged into it without doing a self-learn. Some cars you can self-learn by pinging it and putting it in learn mode. Like this car, sometimes you have to write the TPMS sensor code into the computer so it receives it. Different manufacturers do it differently. Ford. Focus. It's a 2009. This is a 2008 plus because that's when the last time this was updated. Hit OK. Now it's searching. Do the search. You put it on the wheel. Now normally you would point it at the valve stem, but not all vehicles have the sensor at the valve stem. See how it failed? Some 180 degrees from the valve stem. There, boom. Another way to test to see if the sensors work. So if I had aired it up and it still had a problem, because this obviously doesn't have the signal back. So I found it. Now I know it's got to be good because the light went off. But if the light hadn't gone off, let's try it on the side over here. Yeah. If the light hadn't gone off, then I might had to have done a relearn on it, where put it in learn mode and then ping it with this. To make it learn their file. So all four are there. I did get a new sensor just in case because they had one for 12 bucks. So I did get a new sensor just in case I needed one. But obviously I didn't need one. Let me put this away. All right, so this is, again, I put this in the description. Before I put this away. I put this in the description also. It's a bit expensive. It may not be something you want to buy, but it's a good tool for testing it. I am going to have to reprogram the sensors on that one when I get around to that car. Because that's got a rim that's got a rash on it from somebody hitting the curb. So I have a new rim for it with a new sensor. And I'll have to program that one when I change that tire around sometime in the future. So I'm going to show you how to program them. I'm going to experiment in different ways of how to program it because I think there's ways of programming it without special tools. I haven't tried it yet, but I believe there is. We'll just try it one day. All right. I'm going to call that the end of this video, only because I want to retitle for the next video. The next video will be rotating the tires. Get these tires in the back, get those tires I'm going to change in the front. So I'm going to end this video. Give me about 5 minutes to set this one up. Won't even take that, but I'm going to give me 5 minutes anyways. Just sit this, so I'll shut the car off, get it ready. I've already got my plate ready, the jacket. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Yeah, give me about 5 minutes to start the next video. All right, thanks.